So let's get straight to it. I'm on the hunt for a brand new car, and the 6 Series has always been on my list. Currently on the test drive, and here is the car. What's up, friends? So welcome back to DWE, and I won't keep you guessing on this one. As you can see, I did end up buying the E63 630i Sport, as you can see behind me. This is now my new to me car, but there is so much to tell about this journey. The first thing is that this was not an easy buy. As with any 20-year-old BMW, it's a battle between heart and head and also wallet. But this is a car that I have had on my radar for nearly, I would say, 5 years. And there's a number of reasons for that. Firstly, because I currently still have the BMW Z4 of the same era that was produced and designed by none other than Chris Bangle, the same man who gave us the E92 M3 and also the Z4. You may, absolutely, yeah, of course. I edit it all out anyway.
Car, right?
Yeah, it looks good, right? For a 20-year-old car. People genuinely love it. Seeing one in reasonably good condition is a rarity. So when I went to go and buy this car, the first thing that was a worry to me was the cosmetic issues, because that's indicative of someone who hasn't necessarily looked after the car. There are a number of scuffs. There's a scuff here, there's scuffs at the back. There are scuffs pretty much on most panels. Strip down here, which isn't standard, and I think that's covering up some paint that's maybe got onto the car or something. It's kind of a bit tatty. There's all this random stuff in here. The headliner is sagging a bit. You know, it's just been worn, it's been used, but for the price that this is going, I kind of think maybe this is a bit of a bargain. I don't know. Fogging headlights, as you can see. Some heavy curbing there. That's a bit of a concern. This very much would be a project. Yeah, bit of an interesting one. The second time I went to go and view it, they had done a bit of a tidy up, and I thought, you know what? Some of the imperfections are not as bad as I thought. For me, it was all about the right spec. I didn't want to get a convertible, A, because I already own a convertible, but I wanted a proper GT experience with a rigid body. I thought it was also important to get the last ever inline 6 naturally aspirated engine, and this car has that package. So all in all, this is my new baby, and welcome to the E63 630i. Let's do a little walk around and go into exactly why I love this spec, what I've got to do to get this car back up to its true glory, and anything else that's on my mind. Let's get to it. On the front end of this car, there are some glaringly obvious issues that need to be sorted out. This bumper is not snug. Something's obviously happened here, and I don't know if it's when someone replaced the light bulb, they didn't put the bumper back properly, or if it's just a small little prang that's happened. But this bumper needs to be tightened up, and with that, this light, the headlamp, needs to be sorted out because it's misting and it's fogging up. So the whole front end situation is going to have to happen. And looking a bit closer, there are also some scuffs on the front end that I'm going to sort out. Let's go around to the back and look at some of those issues. All in all, the back end of this car is okay, but these pipes, I would like to change them because they're a bit dull, and I think having shiny stainless steel pipes on this car would really bring it to life. There are also some scuffs here that you can see, so I need to buff those out and get the paint looking really fresh and just generally tidy up the paintwork. So all in all, it's quite good. How this car drives though, it drives really well. I think the springs and the bushes could also be tightened up a little bit, but all in all, it pulls really nicely. I'll talk about the driving experience in a little bit, because the final place I want to tidy up and show you is the interior. Let's jump in and have a look. Inside, mostly it's okay. I'm not too stressed, but the things that are concerning for me is the pillars. The roof lining is sagging a little bit. And also, the other thing I want to sort out is just tidying up the leather, like painting it, getting it refreshed to a point where it feels really nice. And a big one, I think with any car of this age and this era, the infotainment system. I tried to use this to navigate my way from the centre of London to Heathrow, and it nearly had a meltdown. So I'm going to be ordering and installing a full Android Auto system that connects with the old computer, so I can switch between iDrive, Android Auto, all that kind of stuff. But all in all, in here it's okay. It's just cosmetically tidying stuff up. So I'm really happy. And also it comes with the important cup holder, which is like kind of imperative for a GT car. But apart from that, I think we're in a good position to, you know, to start taking this car on adventures soon. I do have to do some mechanical work on it, but I think where we're at the moment, we're in a really good spot. So yeah, that's a positive. That's a good sign. So finally owning this BMW E63 630i Sport. I'm not gonna say it's a dream come true because the ownership experience is so fresh. But what I can say off the bat is that this car has really surprised me in a number of ways. It surprised me from a driving dynamics perspective. The car is incredibly responsive. And I don't just mean that from a power perspective. The steering feel it's so refreshing to drive a car of this size and feel so much through the wheel. I have driven countless of cars that are post 2015 and they feel just fat and heavy and slow and just dead. You know, there's nothing, you don't feel anything through the wheel. But this 6 Series, you feel so much through the wheel. It's incredibly responsive. It communicates with you. But that's utterly surprising to me, because a car that is 5 meters long, you would naturally think, yeah, this is going to be a barge. It's going to feel like the classic GT, big, heavy, powerful, lets you know, wafting around, that kind of vibe. Yes, you can waft in this car, and believe me, I do waft because it feels really nice to do that. But when you push it on, it shrinks around you. It gives you so much back. It feels like a tighter package than it is. I think one of the really interesting statistics about this car is its weight. It's a tale as old as time, or it's a tale that's been told many times. This 6 Series was made to be lightweight, and they did that by combining aluminium, reinforced plastics, and with that created a package that was not only as light as the 3 Series at the time, but I've been told recently, and I need to fact check this, that it is lighter than the 1 Series at the time, which to me is utterly bonkers. When now would you see, I mean, if we think about the BMWs of today, the size of them, with the weight of them, we're talking like 2 tons plus. 2 tons for a car is crazy numbers. This one is 1.4, you know, 1,400 kilos upwards, give or take. And that to me is a number that makes complete sense. What this car offers as well in terms of, you know, its practicality, there are back seats behind here, and Georgina and I picked up one of our friends from the airport the other day, and she was able to sit very comfortably behind Georgina. She put the chair forward and she had loads of room. If I had to put someone behind me, I could happily sit forward a bit. I could sit, you know, there, and, you know, they could sit. I mean, I wouldn't personally want to have someone sat in this car for a long time, but they could sit in this car and they could make the journey. You know, if I was driving from here to Cambridge or London to Oxford, a couple of hours, a weekend trip, yeah, you could do it. It's got the boot capacity for that number of people, and it's comfortable for that number of people. So I'm truly impressed with this car, and I have a lot planned for it. As I've probably said, as I've mentioned, The car is not perfect. I didn't buy this car to be a one and done. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to get into a car that was mechanically sound, that presented reasonably well, but had room for me to make it my own. And that's exactly what this car is. It's not cosmetically perfect. The roof lining is sagging. That needs to be done. The leathers are a bit scratched. They can be replenished. You know, the bodywork, there are scratches, there are nicks, there are age-related wear and tear signs that do not bother me. The main thing that I wanted to focus on when buying one of these cars was the quality of its engine, the quality of its drive, and how it feels as a whole package. There are a number of things to look out for when you're buying any BMW with an N52 engine, but there are some telltale signs. The oil filter housing, if that's leaking and spluttering everywhere, you don't want to have to sort that out, because, you know, the gasket seal should be done so that the oil doesn't spill out. But if it is spilling out, that's going to spill onto the belts, and if the belts slip off, then you're going to have a problem. You know that's going to be an issue. This one didn't really have that. I am going to get the seal changed, but I think I've got a buffer there. The coolant in the system was blue. It's very important that you use NAP-free coolant in an N52 engine, and that has an indicative color that is blue. This car had that. And so that gave me hope that this was not a completely neglected car. I'll be honest, the car came with little to no service history, which is a red flag for most people. But if you know what to look for, then you can avoid disasters. And that's what I did. So I do a lot of research. If you're gonna buy one of these cars, do a lot of research. Really get under the skin of what it means to own an N52 engine, the last naturally aspirated engine. But most of all, just find a car that it feels good. You will know if the car feels good. The bushes and the arms, they wear down. So if it feels very flabby and loose and it's knocking when it's driving around, that's a bad sign. And yeah, the electronics will go. There's a lot of wiring in this car. You know, that's again something that you have to look at. If it's got electrical faults all over the place, yeah, I would definitely stay clear of that. And what I did, as you've probably seen in this video, I should just mention now because I only recorded one of them, is that I went for 2 test drives on 2 separate occasions. I put a deposit down and just looked at that as a sunk cost and thought to myself, I'm going to go for a second test drive. And if it shows any, you know, big warning signs or anything that's concerning, then I'm going to steer clear. So yeah, I am completely in love with this car. I think it's an amazing package. And yeah, I can't wait to get started with all of the work that I've got to do on this car. There's going to be a lot, but I think these cars are really coming into their prime. And if there was ever a time to ensure that the E63 shines, it's now, because this car has so much to shout about. It's got so much to represent, and I think it's a jewel, a hidden jewel, or should I say rather, it's a uncut gem in the BMW lineup of the 2000s, the early 2000s. This car is one of the best BMWs that nobody cares about, and I think people are soon going to realize that they should have cared from day dot, because BMW, they were onto something when they created this. They really were. So yeah, I'm super excited to bring you along on this journey. We're going to bring this car to its full glory, its full potential, and the E63 is here to stay. The 630i, probably the best in the lineup. Fight me. I don't care. I love this car, and I hope you do too. So yes, this is now my car. It's now my project. I love this car. I love the 19-inch deep dish wheels that come from standard. I love it from this angle. I love the rear quarter angle. I think this car has so much to offer. But for a 19-year-old car being an 07 plate, there's a lot of work that's needed. And there's a lot of preventative maintenance that I think is critical for this car's survival. Just over 100,000 miles. I'm determined to take this car to 200,000 miles. I want to drive it to Switzerland in spring. I want to drive it to France. I want to do a lot of journeys with this car, and I want to bring you along for an honest account of what it's like to own an E63 630i Sport. I think it's still one of the best BMWs that's ever been made that's not an M car, and most people don't talk about it. In fact, most people don't even like it, and I think that's their loss, because this is arguably one of the best cars of our generation. I have so much planned for this car, so stick around, stay tuned, because this is going to be an absolute journey. This is going to be the BMW 630i like you've never seen it before. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.